Good morning and welcome to Money Matters, an exclusive presentation of the Coastal Financial Planning Group and News Radio 94.3 WSC. Your host, Rick Durkee, is the local retirement income planning and wealth distribution specialist and will be discussing a variety of money matters over the next 30 minutes.
And good morning and welcome back to Money Matters. Thank you for joining us this Saturday morning, and join us each and every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock here on 94.3 WSC FM. I have a guest this morning. You may have heard him before on the show, but if you are retirement-minded, you're doing some pre-retirement planning, and you need to get some information on Medicare, you certainly want to stay with us this morning. Chris Westfall of the Senior Savings Network will be with us, and he is an expert on the information of Medicare, what's going on, what's the anticipated changes with the program, how it may cost you some more money if you don't do some pre-planning. So certainly stay tuned. Chris Westfall will be our guest in just a few minutes. And as we have over the last 10 years plus now, let me share with you some upcoming calendar of events. And our guest today, Chris Westfall, will actually be one of the speakers for the May 12th event, where we go into detail of Social Security and Medicare planning. If that's of interest to you, visit the cfpgroup.biz website. Call us, though, at 735-5065 at any time, and we'll provide you additional information on that. We'll actually be sending out mail and advertising for those college courses. And good morning and welcome back to Money Matters. As I mentioned in the earlier segment here, my guest this morning is Chris Westfall of the Senior Savings Network. Chris, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Rick. Great to be with you again.
Glad to have you on the show again. We had you right as there were some Medicare decisions coming up, and now we understand that there were some recent changes in Medicare programs, and we want to have that discussion today. And so I want to jump right into the topic here this morning, folks. It's going to be what's new with the Medicare program. And so I just say, Chris, let me turn that one into a question right away. You remember, or maybe you've seen the recent Saturday Night Live skits with what's up with that. What's new with the Medicare program?
Rick, there's a lot going on with Medicare right now, and the timing could not be better to focus on this a little bit. 50 million seniors in America are affected by the Medicare program. It's a $600 billion a year program it's 1/6 of the economy of our country, and yet many seniors don't know what's happening right now that kind of jeopardizes probably their Medicare program. And that's, last week, the sustainable growth rate that's always been a problem in Washington every year. It's been addressed 17 different times with Band-Aids, and that's basically what doctors are paid on the Medicare program. And it's supposed to be cut by 21% this year, but Congress is at it again. But this time, as opposed to in previous years, they're addressing this sustainable growth rate by doing away with it altogether. And the bill just passed the House last week with 392 to 37 to completely do away with the sustainable growth rate, which sounds good. But as we'll find out this week in the Senate, probably by Wednesday, the Senate's going to take up this bill, and it could have some damaging effects to seniors. And I bet you most don't know about it.
Okay, Chris. So any other things that we can expect as far as new with the Medicare program then?
Yeah, and here's the biggest key. And most seniors that are on Medicare also have a Medicare supplement, otherwise called a Medigap plan to go along with Medicare. Mm-hmm. And Medicare pays 80%, and the GAP plan pays the other 20%. However, this bill that's before Congress that, again, the Senate's going to decide on this week is going, and again, it passed overwhelmingly in the House. So the likelihood is it will pass the Senate in some form. We'll be doing away with their Medicare Supplement Plan F, and that's the most popular plan in the country. Over 60% of seniors are on Medicare Supplement and on Medicare Supplement Plan F. That's the plan that everybody recognizes as the easiest plan possible. It pays all the bills. So when you go to the doctor, you leave and literally pay nothing because your Plan F Medicare Supplement pays that bill. Well, according to this new law, which may be going into effect very soon, as soon as middle April, we'll be changing Plan F and eliminating it completely starting in 2020. Kind of a big deal for seniors.
Mm-hmm. So we need some pre-planning for that?
We definitely do. And one of the worst things you can do in a Medicare supplement plan is being on a plan that's a closed risk pool. And that is a plan that they're no longer selling. which means no one turning 65 can purchase that plan anymore. And, the whole rule of insurance is the law of large numbers, and that is spreading out a risk over many, many people. Well, with Medicare, they expect to have all these brand new people coming in, turning 65, getting on Medicare from open enrollment, and they bring down the cost of the average Medicare recipient's claim because they're younger, they're healthy, they're in shape, they're just retiring in many cases. They're the youngest of the Medicare group. They're the baby boomers right now. So those people are not going to be coming into a certain plan like Plan F starting in just a few years. So that's going to impact which plan you want to be on. Do you want to be on a plan that's accepting and bringing in all the time new blood, new, healthy, younger seniors, or do you want to be on potentially a closed risk pool, which is not accepting anybody younger and healthier? And what happens is they go into a rate spiral, death spiral, if you will. So everybody's getting older and sicker. Yeah.
And so then that's their method of phasing out that risk pool, is to just continue to raise the rates in that pool?
They do. They raise the rates based on the experience of the group, and the experience of the group is going to get ever worse when they close down Plan F and Plan C. The good news is there's an alternative, and actually the alternative is better today than Plan F is even today. See, Plan F, it does pay all the bills, and that's one of the reasons why Congress is focused on eliminating it. It pays all the bills. Well, Medicare was not intended to pay all the bills. They have a small deductible. It's only $147, very small for the entire year. After that, it pays everything. Well, Plan F, as a Medicare supplement plan, charges you typically $200 or $300 or $400 a year just to pay that $147 deductible for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the better alternative is Plan G, and I've been saying this for 8 years, and suddenly the industry's caught on, and they've determined that Plan G is the best course for the future for a number of reasons, not the least of which is the fact that Congress is going to eliminate it. But Plan G does not pay that $147 deductible for you. But the savings could be $400, $600 a year. So let me ask you the question, Rick. If I could give you $600 and yet you have to pay $147, isn't that a better deal?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And seniors have not only recognized that, but they've also recognized that the rate increases year over year, which we always have to watch. They're so much better on Plan G. As a matter of fact, the average annual increase on Plan F, where it pays all the bills, is 9% per year. And that, again, that compounds every year, where the average rate increase on Plan G, where you're paying that small deductible and saving a lot of money for doing so, is only about 4% per year. So you get a better plan today, better cost. And it's the same doctors and same hospitals and same coverage, but you're paying less for it. And more importantly, your rate increases into your 70s, into your 80s, into your 90s. Your rate increases are going to be much less than today's Plan F. Most people don't know that.
Now, Chris, I want to back up for just a minute here. We were jumping right into the topic this morning, and I didn't get an opportunity to give out your phone number. People can reach you at 1-800-729-9590. That's 1-800-729-9590. Give Chris a call this morning. He can answer questions that you have regarding your Medicare planning. Or if you want to find out more information, it's simple. Go online, seniorsavingsnetwork.org. That's seniorsavingsnetwork.org. And Chris, I know this, but our listeners may not, because they may not have tuned in the last show that you were on. Tell us a little bit about your background. Now, you were actually from Florida, but you have a national company here, the seniorsavingsnetwork.org, and you do a lot of business online with people across the country. And we're just blessed that you're here in the Charleston area and you can provide this information to our local listeners. But when you started in this business, you were actually in law enforcement, weren't you?
Yes, I was in law enforcement. I was a deputy sheriff in Volusia County, Florida, and the Daytona Beach area.
Mm-hmm.
Left there after being a sergeant there for many, many years and chasing bad guys. When I was 5 years old, I thought that was the thing to do. You grow up and you get to be a hero.
Yeah.
Get the bad guys. But I quickly learned, after having a family of 4 kids, it's not the long-term financial goal that I had for myself and the family, to have the freedom and flexibility to do what we wanted to do. And I think that I'd gotten my share of chases in my life and could be done with all that. And the shootings and all the things that have changed with the law enforcement community nowadays, thank goodness I've decided to go a different path.
Yeah,
sure.
but definitely the reason I asked Chris to share that is that so you can know his background, certainly community service, certainly education based, and that's why we have him here on Money Matters, to be able to provide you with the information that's pertinent for your planning for Medicare. Chris has taken that same approach as how he started his career in law enforcement, to be able to provide information, especially for seniors, and show them ways where they can save dollars in their Medicare planning. He's already shared a couple of examples. If you just tuned in, you can call Chris this morning, 800-729-9590, if you'd like to get more information on today's show or perhaps an outline of today's topic. So, Chris, before that, we were talking about Plan G being the best choice. Plan F is not your friend anymore. What's the big difference that we see now in Medigap rates between companies?
A big difference. There's a study last year by the Kaiser Family Foundation at kff.org, and they talked about the variation in the plan rates for Medicare supplement companies. Many seniors only know what their one agent tells them is the rate for a Medicare supplement company, but the Kaiser study showed that there's a variation in any given state as much as $79 per month in the difference in the rate. The same Plan F or the same exact Plan G can vary by $80 a month. It's crazy.
So definitely money that would be slipping through the cracks without a comparable quote, okay, from several different companies, and that's how you handle quotes for people?
Yeah, we're completely independent. We're in 42 different states, so if you're listening to this now or you're listening over the internet and you've got family in anywhere across the country except for Hawaii, D.C., and New York, we can help them by shopping the entire market. We're licensed with all the different companies, and the savings are typically $600 to $800 a year on the same exact plan. These plans were standardized back in 2010. Every Plan F is the same. Every Plan G is exactly the same. They're accepted by all the doctors that accept Medicare. So the only difference is how much premium are you paying. And let me ask you this question, Rick. Would your doctor care if you're getting a good deal on your insurance premium or not?
No, they're still going to get their copay, right?
Exactly. Yeah. They're still going to give you the same level of care, and they're going to take good care of you. So the only difference is between you and your agent, are they giving you every rate that's in the market? The companies are all the same. They must pay the bills. They can't decide, I'm not going to pay this bill or I am going to pay that bill. They pay every Medicare claim exactly the same. And nowadays they pay it electronically. So the biggest difference is in that premium, and it doesn't cost anything to just take a look and see if you can save money right now.
SeniorSavingsNetwork.org, is there a worksheet on there where somebody can do a little calculating to see if they can save some dollars?
Yes, we don't put our public rates on there because they do change all the time, and sometimes it's hard to determine which company is best based on just what you see in the numbers. So we can tell you about their background, we can tell you their ratings, we can tell you their experience with rate increases, and all those things play into having an experienced agent make a recommendation that could possibly save you money. Now, we can't save money to everybody in every single case, but you know, if we're going to walk around giving out $600 or $800 for the same benefits, it's worth a 5-minute look.
Now, Chris, I know you're proactive in the information you've provided us with today that our listeners need to be aware of. Anything coming up as far as dates that people need to keep in mind when it comes to Medigap planning?
Yeah, there's a very good one, and many seniors are under the misimpression that they can only change their Medicare supplement plan during that last part of the year when hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising are spent saying, now's the Medicare time, now's the time to change your plan. In reality, on a Medicare supplement plan, you can change it 365 days a year. You can change your Medicare supplement plan at any point you want to. Whenever you find a better rate, that's when we can change your Medigap plan. So again, the time to shop is as soon as you get this information.
Now, Chris, we may have some people that just joined us on air here and some listeners, so I want to go back to how you started off the show with the new changes in the Medicare program. Can you tell us who those changes are going to affect more than others?
Yes, it's a bill before Congress right now, passed 2 weeks ago by the House overwhelmingly, and the Senate takes it up this week, and they have to do it by Wednesday, or else doctors are going to be slashed in their reimbursement by 21%. It's called the Sustainable Growth Rate. And it's going to affect a certain portion of seniors more than any others, and that's any senior that earns more than the base model. You know, they started this means testing a few years ago, and now anybody that earns over $85,000 as an individual, or double that for a couple, is going to pay more for their Medicare premium. Their Part B premium is not the typical $105, but it's something more than that. If they earn more than $214,000 a year now, they're paying as much as $336 a month for that same Part B premium. Well, that's going to go up drastically under this new bill starting in 2018. That maximum income range of $214,000 and up is coming down to $160,000 and up. So now the government thinks apparently that seniors that are earning more than $160,000 a year, have other things to do with their income than hold on to it themselves, and the government wants more of that back in premium.
Yep. So definitely, if you would like to do some proactive planning, if you find that your income range is in that area, certainly reach out to Chris. Visit his website at seniorsavingsnetwork.org, or also call 800-729-9590. Chris, anything else that you'd like to add? We've got just about a minute before we go to break that our listeners should be aware of.
Yes, and anybody driving down the road and listening to Money Matters as I do on my weekends, I just want to implore you, if you know anybody that's of Medicare age, give them this information. If it's your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, and they're on a Medicare supplement plan, and you can literally give them $80 to $100 a month back by being on the best program in their area, that would really make a positive impact on someone with a fixed income. So I encourage you to give them our information.
Okay, and then giving them that information of seniorsavingsnetwork.org. Chris, we're going to take a short break and then come back with a recap here on Money Matters. We'll be right back right after this. Good morning and welcome back to Money Matters. I'm with Chris Westfall of the Senior Savings Network. You can visit his website, seniorsavingsnetwork.org, or call this morning at 800-729-9590. Chris, hey, we all know the facts. We've got about 10,000 baby boomers retiring every day for the next, I think it's, I believe, 17 years. A lot of people moving into retirement. A lot of people need to go through a process of discovery and learning about what decisions they need to make in retirement or going into retirement. Medicare is certainly one of those programs. How do you take people through that process of discovery and learning versus the normal insurance agent that would walk up and knock on their door?
It's a very good point. And typically what happens is when a senior's turning 65, their phone will start to ring off the hook. Their mailbox will be full to the brim with Medicare advertisements from the companies directly. And what ends up happening is they'll get one person that they may like, kind of like a real estate agent, I guess. You kind of like their personality, how articulate they are, and then you buy whatever they're offering. The challenge is if you're dealing with an agent who is a captive agent who only represents one company, then that's the only perspective that you have. They say what do you call it? A carpenter with a toolbox that only has one tool on it. It's a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. And the same is true with insurance.
That's right.
If you can only offer one plan, you try to make that fit everybody. And the truth is, there are a lot of different companies, not only here in South Carolina, but across the country. They all compete, which is great. Competition is wonderful. And again, all the plans are standardized. So we would like to show you not just company XYZ, but all of their competition too, and share with you their rate increase experience over the past few years and why you might want to consider a different company than just one particular company. And we don't knock on doors. We don't fill your mailbox full of mail. We offer referrals from our existing clients, and they put us in touch with people that they know so that we can do a good job for them too and make the complicated simple. We don't want a senior to have to enter the insurance business and become an expert on everything Medicare. You don't have to do that. You don't need to get your license to know exactly what the best route to go, and that's where we can help you by providing the choices, but breaking it down to make it simple.
The process of learning. That's why we've also asked Chris to join us in some of our upcoming college class workshops. He'll be giving our presentation on integration of your Medicare planning with your Social Security benefits for our income planning discussion that we'll have. It'll be about a 3-hour course coming up here in just a few weeks. We'll be having information available to you for that on Medicare. Chris, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for your information. We'll certainly look forward to having you back on Money Matters here in the near future and providing your information on Medicare planning for our listeners.
My pleasure, Rick. Thank you so much.
Okay, and one last chance to give it out here, seniorsavingsnetwork.org. Join us again next Saturday morning for another half hour of Money Matters, and stay tuned. We'll be right back after these short messages